Okay, so here is my 1932 Austin 7 RN, or some of it anyway. Let's have a walk round. Tried to lay out the main components loosely in some sort of order. Obviously this is all the components that bolt to the body. The body itself separate, it's in the garage, I'll show that later. Chrome grille, very good undented condition. I mean, obviously if you were storing the car to concourse you would chrome it. The wings, I'll show you some spares that come with it later. I have got other sets of wings that are with the car. These ones are okay, they're workable. They need some repair to be able to have it to a good standard, but it's all there, as you can see. The wheels were reconditioned. They were re-rimmed, re-spoked. I think only the hubs remained original, but obviously not everything's repairable. The doors, somebody's cut the bottom off that one, I assume to use it as a template to repair it. I have got some of the parts, and I think the door bottom was cut off that in the garage. All 5 wheels were done. These tyres are old, but they were simply fitted because I wanted to get it to a rolling chassis. Okay, so sunroof panels, side running boards, and obviously the rear wings. Quickly look at the other door. That other one was obviously the same, and that's why they've cut that bottom section off. This is a chassis, although it's a bit grubby. It was actually sandblasted when I bought the car 8 years ago, I'm guessing. And I did paint it just to protect it. There was no chassis number visible when I bought it, but thankfully when it's sandblasted, I lightly rubbed it with some emery paper, so I've got a bit of rust on it, but so I didn't paint it over. I didn't want it to go missing, because when the DVLA inspect it, they'll need to identify that to reunite it with its original number, JX3, which I do have all the details and evidence to be able to reunite it with. So the chassis seems in pretty sound, straight order, like I say, mainly painted to keep it protected. There's that lovely number, look, JX3. Halifax originally. Yeah. Some of the suspension components. Now these springs were actually brand new, remanufactured. So they are new springs. I have the originals over there, but they'd seen some life, shall we say. Steering column there. There is another steering column with it also. Actually, there's a lot of brake shoes in here. A lot of them have been relined. A lot of work's already been done in preparation, if you like. That's the battery box there, with some suspension shackles in. Bits and pieces. So the interior then, obviously highly desirable green corduroy cloth. Not sure that was factory original, but I believe this is more than likely original. It's actually quite hard to tell what colour it is. It sort of looks like it's been a grey brown. Or a grey. Back of the seat looks more like Rexine than leather. I assume that was original. But with the horrible corduroy bases again. Instrument dials. And the steering wheel. So we'll move on to the engine bits and bobs. Now the radiator I had completely recored, but I didn't want it of the modern type coring, so it is the proper type, and that was, I can't remember off the cuff, but that was very expensive to have done, but we're fortunate to have a local classic radiator specialist, so push the boat out with that one. Everything seems to be here. The previous owner to me, who actually dismantled it, he spent a number of years, once he dismantled it, he decided he was going to spend his weekends when he retired, or well, all his time when he retired, doing it. Never got round to it, and when he did retire, he emigrated, hence me buying it. But in the meantime, he bought many spares from Auto Jumbles. But as different now with eBay, you can get things when you want them. But when he used to go to an Auto Jumble, he'd often forget what he'd actually already bought, or even what would fit his car, I guess. So subsequently, huge surplus of spares. Not all are applicable for this car. Proper 3-speed gearbox, as should be with the RN, and that's the gravity fed tank, so that'll go on the bulkhead. There's the engine number there, and there is a copy of a Buff logbook which bears that number, and there's also an old tax archive record. I built up quite a big history file. The chap who I bought it from gave me a bit of information. I was able to research it quite extensively, which I have. It was left in a parts cleaner for quite a while, and this is just sort of congealed oil. But I think everything's there. I can't guarantee the whole car's 100% complete because I bought it in bits. Okay, and these are the bits left over, as it were. So, pair of front wings there, aluminium block. That's a different one. I'm not sure if it seems to be from the same era. Slightly different number there. Cylinder head. Carburettor. There isn't one thing there isn't with it, although there are carburettors with it. There isn't a Zenith updraft carb, which I believe there should be. Another steering column, rear wings, bonnets galore. That's the front suspension spring. I think that's the original one, and that one's come up nicely. I think I had that one sandblasted and I painted that at the time. Again, it's probably ready for another coat of paint, a bit of a freshen up. But this, I think those two were the. No, they weren't. Those two were the original springs. Not that it matters. Sprite shoes, drums. That's the oil strainer. I think that's actually should be part of the engine. Another sump, and that's just sort of a box of miscellaneous. It's obviously had some trafficators on at some point. Spare ignition coils, some felt seals, bushes, all sorts. So there you have it. As I said, I'll show the actual core body separately. It's a bit heavy to move. And I'm going to have to get this packed away because it looks like there's a storm coming. Some more vital components. Obviously the front axle there, windscreen and surround, drag link, cranks, 2 of them, and the rear axle. Now, there's some half shafts there, but actually some new half shafts in the axle. It just hasn't been set yet. I think that's storage. That plate just wants straightening out. And some bits and pieces for the body and various. Shouldn't have chrome bumpers. Don't know why they're there. Possibly off a later Ruby or something. That's the door bottom piece that's been cut off. Don't know what that is. And that's the guttering for the roof. Steering wheel centre. there's other bits and pieces of tin to do with the body. We've got a starting handle there, prop shaft, and here's the body. Certainly not a rock box. Clearly wants quite a level of work, but it seems solid enough. Certainly worth saving. It'd be a shame to see it go as a special bodied vehicle. It's got a lovely original number. The body's all there, and I think it's good. I think the main bulk of the work will be in the wings, probably. I'm not saying that there isn't a lot of graft to do on the body, but I think it's workable. Well, I bought it because of that. And there she is, and that's everything I've got for it. So as far as I can tell, it's complete. There may be one or two things missing, but ultimately it's all there. Those of you that know these better than me may well be able to identify something that's missing, but thanks for watching this far.